A little bit, but still grinding it through. I just got upstairs and my guys just gave me background reports on somebody that just came in, and like it throws you off a little bit, but that's the nature of it.
So in the process, where are you? On Thursday, I think, Dan was saying sort of there was a group of 10 guys at 20 you were considering, and now everybody's sort of making their cases. Is that sort of where you still are?
Yeah, I think probably by tomorrow it'll be narrowed down to about we're probably like 5 guys, and that doesn't include guys that could fall. Yeah, I think by tomorrow we should kind of be around five players at 20 and about 600 at 37. Yeah, I don't even want to go there yet.
Obviously, as a staff, you guys are so familiar with a lot of these players. Prior to the workouts, how much, if at all, can your opinion change, or has your opinion changed on a lot of these guys, having seen them now over the last 3 or 4 weeks in this setting?
We do a lot of like mechanics, pictures, analytics, all background checks, psych tests and all that stuff. And when they come for workouts, there's so many things you look at with like foot speed, how tall they are, their demeanors, so many things. But I think the bulk of the work is done, like with them playing 5-on-5 in their various teams, and then all the stuff that I just mentioned. So it's a huge process for us, and it just builds and builds and builds. And now, hopefully by tomorrow, Wednesday morning, we'll have gathered almost all the information we have, and then we'll mess it up with a trade or something.
How much of bringing guys in, how important is it just to spend a bit of time with them off the court and see what they're like in a conversational setting and just their personality?
It's very, very important. We do the interviews in Chicago. You see them, like on a personal side. It's an interview. I think they're since the whole Chicago interview started. I think they're well trained now. It's sometimes is it rehearsed, but well, if it's rehearsed well, then they're good. But here we like to put them in a good situation. We take them to our director's lounge and hang out with them and talk to them individually. Trying to get as much information that you can get, and it's a good setting, I think, to keep them a little bit relaxed. It's not like Chicago where it's an interview, and then the guys we narrow down, like those ones we'll pay like particular attention to.
How much will Kyle Lowry's situation, if any, affect your decision on Thursday?
No, nothing. We're going full force after Kyle Lowry, and hey, if there's a talented point guard in the draft, we know that it's going to be tough to come and contribute to where our team is off the bat, but we'll go for talent in the draft, but Kyle Lowry is our target, and we'll try and get that done.
Which part of the process? I mean, there's all kinds of pieces to it. Mm-hmm. Which part do you weight, or do you give the most weight to? I mean, is it the interview side? Is it the workout side? Is it what you saw in the gym, back in December?
Is the playing side, I think. At the end of the day, everybody has to come and play basketball. How you've performed over the course of your career, be it in Europe, here, and then talent. You have to look at the individual talent, and part of our jobs we don't really say it, and it's the difficult part maybe is to judge upside, and that's part of the job. We have to figure it out. We have to figure out what a player is now and what he will be in a couple years from now, or 4 years from now, or 2 years from now, and how much growth he can have with a good program, good coaching, good player development. We have to put all that into consideration. So playing first, talent, those two things, I think you have to combine both of them.
Is the philosophy or the mindset on your part different drafting at number 20 than it would be top 5 or top 10 in terms of what you're looking for?
It's almost you think when you're that high in the draft, those top guys, like those guys are kind of set, and you have to figure out which one you want, So our mindset is, we get the best guy, best talent available, and try to do our homework as much as we can, and I can't compare it now. We've done our homework on the top guys because you never know what comes up, what can come up in the next couple of days. But our jobs is to do our homework. We've got a great spread in the draft where we try to figure out the top 20 guys, and then you have a pick right there, dead and center in the second round in 37, and then 58. You're looking to get lucky. So. We had a good spread there where we really have to be prepared for this draft.
Would you like to keep all 3 picks? Like, do you go in hoping to use all 3, or do you go in hoping to maybe deal one of them?
I think hoping to keep all 3, but will all 3 be on our roster? We don't know, but if we can do that, we're fine. If it's a trade, then it's something interesting that is going to at least benefit us some kind of way. So, but now we're looking at all 3, but doesn't necessarily mean all 3 will be on our roster.
Both you and Dan have said you won't look at a certain position, you'll take the best guy available. But he also said on Thursday, we know some skills that we need to upgrade at, regardless of position. Mm-hmm. Can you elaborate a bit on that, what you think you need to add to this team just in terms of skill?
We need a big wing, a 3 position. We need some kind of shot blocking, like a big. We have good skilled bigs. We have shooting big. We have a big down low. We want to figure out how we can protect the rim a little bit. And that may come now, it may come later, but it's something we know that we need on our roster. So those 2 positions, I think, looks like it's something we need.
But those wouldn't necessarily be priorities with this pick.
No, we'll go for the best player available. Yeah, that's 100%. We'll try and get the best player that we can, and if it so happens that it's a wing player or a shot blocker, then fine.
How important is it that whoever you draft, you think will fit with how Coach Casey wants players to play?
I've always said it, like all along, that my job is to kind of once you have your coach in place, you try and figure out the players that fit the system of the coach, and we try to do that in Denver. We're trying to do it here, and I think defensively, the player has. We have to figure out those kind of players that will come in and give Dwayne Casey what he wants in terms of growth. It might not be immediate production, but in terms of the style of play, I think it's an aggressive team. We're going to play tough, play hard on the defensive end, and stop people, and are going to play up tempo and on the offensive end. We have to bring in those kind of players. I can't just draft anybody to come here and just throw to Dwayne Casey. I don't think that would be fair.
Dan had mentioned he believes defense is more inherent in the player, and you can coach some of the offensive skills as long as they're not broken at the start. Mm-hmm. Is that sort of how you view these guys coming in? The defense is something they have to bring with them?
In some kind of way. Maybe even have some of the attributes that lead to being a good defensive player, whether it's length, or foot speed, or size, or IQ, quickness, all those things. We really have to study them to see. Most players play basketball on the offensive end, you know, like they'll figure it out, you know, like offensively. That's that's probably like what motivates them to play basketball. 99% of them. So the defensive end with our philosophy is important, and we have to bring in the kind of players that will fit.
What sets apart guys who are able to carve out careers? I mean, lottery picks, everyone knows who they're going to be, but guys who get picked low in a first or somewhere in a second round and yet end up being 5-10 year NBA players. Like what, besides talent, what attributes have you noticed?
I think toughness. I think hard work is cliche to say, you know, but I think those two things. Sometimes when players are skipped like that, they have that motivation. When they have the talents, they have that motivation, or right away that hey, there's a chip a little bit that why didn't we get picked, you know, like high enough, but. It's a tough thing to do in the NBA. It's really tough, and it's a great question, Mike. Because how do you figure out those guys? I wish I could figure out one now to pick at 37. I tell you what, I'd be smiling, but it's yeah, it's a huge bonus. A huge bonus. You look at the programs that have done very well in the NBA. They've just strived with picks like that, and it takes constant study, you know, and really like knowing players, but believing in players and a system. And I believe you have to create that system. You have to create that program where, you know, when you get these players now, you grind them in and coach them and develop them into molding them into being kind of players. But sometimes we can push and push and push if they don't have the work ethic, if they don't have a little bit of the talent you're talking about, and that determination, because when you come into those good teams we're talking about, they're already players there, you know, like, and they're already established players. We have young players, but we have players that, you know, we feel are good players, you know, and have potential to continue to grow. So whoever is coming in, you know, like you have your work cut out.
Is this a draft where you can see yourself possibly listening to offers, putting something together to move up in the draft?
We're concentrating on 20. Like I said, the first time I talked to you guys a couple weeks ago, you know, like I don't do heartbreaks very well, you know, so I'm not going to, you know, like those trades and talks, you know, like all, people don't understand. We talk about like maybe 100 trades and then 2 happen, you know, like that's just the nature of our business. So our energy, we're going to focus, we'll be aggressive, you know, like, but our energy is focused on 20, you know, like, and rather than wasting my time or wasting our time on what's not, you know, like, so if there is anything, I always feel like those kind of things almost come to you, you know, rather than you chase them. You know, so if there's anything that makes sense, you know, like, but we'll be aggressive if we smell anything anywhere. That's we'll be aggressive, but I won't put anything to the 20s where we'll concentrate on.
How difficult is it just to feel prepared going into a draft when you know anything can change at any moment? I mean, you look last week at the Embiid news. You know, anything can change the order of what's going to happen.
Well, I was walking in today. I just flew in, and I was walking in, and I was just walking into the conference room where our guys were meeting, and I was like, okay, no news that's gonna throw me off right now, you know, because it'll keep coming. There's gonna be something tonight. Tomorrow morning, there's gonna be something. That's just the nature of the draft, you know. Like I heard something yesterday that threw us off a little bit, you know. Like it will keep coming and coming and coming until that last minute, and that's the joy of it. I mean, that's the, you know, like, you love it. That's why we do it, and there's always action. So as long as we come out on top, you know, then we're fine.
You talked about paring down your list to hopefully 5. Mm-hmm. Do you, in your mind, have the guy? If this guy is available at 20, that's your guy. Have you come to that decision yet?
He's around like the back here, but he hasn't made it to the front yet. He's working his way.